All right, so I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday afternoon. And I wanted to get into this originally last Sunday, but something came up and I had to cover a couple urgent topics. I know they were not pretty, but it is what it is. But now I got the time to cover it. So this one right here in particular. So I just want to talk about basically this particular statement that my guy Too Raw for TV had mentioned in that Bronny logo video. So let me play it for you in just a moment on what he said. I'm gonna play like toward the end of the clip, and I'm gonna actually discuss it from a job marketing standpoint. So listen to what he said here.
This is the times we're in, man. It's one big club and we're not in it. The Nepo babies, they're the ones that get all the opportunities, even if it's deserved or not. Meanwhile, we see so many players who are grinding in the G League, but because they don't know people or they don't got connections, because of politics, they never make it.
So he is 100% on the money on what he said. But while that's going on in the NBA in regards to, that issue, I'm going to apply it here as well with, what's going on in the job market and the way that it functions now compared to before. And unfortunately, politics also plays a part into that. And as you know, when I shared that Glassdoor community post about the guy that was trying to apply for a creative marketing job, where he applied, he said 300 jobs and only to gain 8 interviews from those 300. He said ageism is a factor, and as to why he kept getting rejected, right? And that's unfortunately true, as Nathan alluded to it, and he told me about it. It's like you gotta look younger, and and I don't want to have to go into too many details. It's like it's just a total bias, and you have like the disrespect to the older generation, or what have you, and just because of your age, when age really should never be a factor. Now here's the other part to to what Too Raw mentioned about as far as like those who will grind it out, work super hard, and and even when as it applies to this job market, those who work hard and grind it out on job interviews, looking properly dressed, especially with the neckties and wearing the proper colors to show that you are really wanting the job and being desperate about it. I want to say desperate. I don't want to go too far as to saying that, but just really interested in wanting the job and really wanting to become an asset to the company should you get hired, right? So, despite all the grinding like the guy had with 300 jobs, and I know some other people had gone through maybe like almost 100 job applications, and only to gain like 3 job interviews. So that means they too, like me, and that guy applying for a creative marketing job, they've only been able to get like what? I mean, they probably gotten as many as several rejections, or more than several of those, and I can see that in them too. I mean, I went through it. Hell, Ernie's probably gone through that as well. I could have asked him, but when you don't hear from that many people, and you still gain only maybe like a couple of interviews if you're lucky. But more so, it's either a majority of companies just don't get back to you at all, or you get several. Well, actually, what's first is a large percentage of from based on your job applying is what you don't hear from a lot of those companies, that you apply to. Let's say maybe like, I don't know, if like 70%, if I had to take a wild percentage guess, and maybe like 40% you get, was it like rejections, right? Like what I've been getting. And then maybe like 10-20% you may be lucky to gain even just a couple job interviews. You know what I'm saying? So from what Two Ross said, as I apply it into today's job market, it is unfortunate because, some people, and I know a lot of people have said this before too, and unfortunately I have to accept that it's how some people just get hired. Like, they got to know somebody, they got to have connections. So I mean, the same applies here, as it does in sports, especially in the NBA. I mean, how else did Bron get in? Through his dad, LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be connections. If you know somebody in that company, then once you apply for there, and even if you suck in an interview, or let's just say maybe like sub-average, then you're still going to get in no matter what. How else did I get into this dump that I'm still in to this day? I got in through Rico because I've known Rico as a classmate from Cal State Fullerton. He's the one that got me into the job once Claire left, as Claire was only there for like 3 months. So I got in through him, even though my interview was, I had to, looking back, not so great. I still got in, and being told that, Rico has to mentor me as, not only becoming a better employee, but also as a graphic designer. So that's how I got in. I mean, and that's still the reality today, which is connections. I mean, you gotta know somebody. You gotta know somebody before you get in, and in order to get into the company, to work there. I know it's happening with a lot of people, but like I've been saying a long time ago, I do not I want to get a job on my own, regardless if I know somebody or not. Or I want to get it when, just not knowing anybody. I want to get it on my own. I already been through the process of doing that back in 2012 when I got into this dump, right? Once upon a time, a real workplace, before I even called it a dump, the last few years. After almost 20 people left in 2023, right? So my thing is, those who are truly deserving are the ones who just have all the effort on, you have a hardworking resume. Your resume looks great. You have, and how you deliver yourself with, with how your physical appearance, first impressions, right? How you dress properly and all that. You gotta look well groomed, and it's despite how you deliver. This is where I truly get annoyed, and I see it's competition really, but in the arts field it's even more competitive, to where it's even harder to get a job because there's a lot of competitors in the art field. More nonetheless, graphic design, / marketing, which is one of the toughest, especially when it comes to finding a new job. Okay. And, the thing with that is despite how hard you work your ass off to get the job, and those ones should be truly deserving, but unfortunately, the ones that are not as deserving are the ones getting the job. And that's the times that we live in with this entire job market as well. And it's just, that's why I've seen that, and I've seen this quote, and I've seen it also on KTLA, that there's a lot of workers as of this year, 2026, that that they're burnt out for looking for a new job. So they decide to just stay there. I mean, how else am I seeing a whole lot of these lifers still, which really does annoy me, which is why I just can't stand it that I'm sitting there and I have a hard time being myself, But I don't want to get into so much of that drama. I already talked about it enough in my older videos. I know I'm getting a lot of criticism that my quote unquote mindless videos are about exposing those. He's mainly talking about my dump. Those people I know they're referring to my dump for the most part, which they see me constantly blame, and I'm still gonna do it no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So look, man, it is unfortunate that we're living in this kind of environment, and with humanity already having gone backwards, we just see getting a new job, even if it's like a regular job, for Christ's sake, it's already tough enough. People want to get paid better. I myself want to get paid way better than how much I'm being paid now. Paula's been pushing me to try to get the fuck out of that place, but it hasn't been the case. I've been stuck, and I know I'm trying not to make any excuses. Just about the way that the economy is, inflation, the pay cuts, the layoffs, and everything else that goes into it on the negative aspect of this economy. But unfortunately, it's like I'm being burned out too. I mean, I feel it, but I still don't want to give up on it. I'm still going to stand on business no matter what. But, only time will tell. I've been praying every single night that I'm trying to get a new job. But, I'm still here, and going to my 13th year, it's just nothing just gets better. It does not get better. Okay? And I hate to be in so much pain, which is why I'm going through so much drama. And in the end, I still got to keep going. I've been competitive lately, but I got to be way more competitive than that. If I got to do what it takes, then I got to do it. But AI is as dangerous as it already is, with how it manipulates social media, just with whatever they're trying to do to make people think that this particular thing is real or not. It's like, dude, even AI is going to take over the goddamn workforce, and what if I don't get a job no more? I don't want to think that, but it's possible. This is the future that we're living in, with AI now just taking over, and everything is going to become digital. But when you have AI just doing shit for everybody right now, and especially in this dump, with the company president that's so stubborn as fuck, it doesn't want to adhere to the modern trends of today's job society, or job market, what have you. It's more like, I'm still gonna be that's the same person I've been. Now looking back on what I've been told, I won't grow professionally until I grow as a person. Well, as a person, it's different. Like, you are who you are, and you got some people. I know Bobby has said it before, and I'm trying to remember if someone else has said it. Don't let a workplace define you. Okay? Don't let a workplace define you. Fuck this telemarketer call. I'm not going to answer. I was going to... Look at that. It's not disturbing our recording. But, that's our first telemarketer of the day, mind you. Considering I had like fucking 4 or 5 yesterday. Anyways, yeah, it's kind of lost my train of thought already. But yeah, dude, it's... I'm trying not to be negative about this entire thing, but in the end, it's I gotta do what's best for me. I mean, all the hard work I'm gonna be doing, especially as a graphic designer, and who knows if I'm gonna be no longer a graphic designer. This is where I'm at. And oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, people like Bobby. I remember Bobby saying that you don't let a workplace define you. So basically, he's saying, who you are is not, who you are at work is not who you are outside of work. So you're talking about two different people. That's what he's alluding to. I mean, and from what I was told, growing professionally and growing as a person, the way I look at it is, yeah, you got to be mature, like basically just being mature and, upping your game, having that strong optimism and knowing how to conquer. As a person, you got to know how to fight, this and that. I can understand it from that standpoint of what Julio told me when it comes to, just growing as a person. You got to be more positive. You got to fight. You got to focus, improve yourself as a person, and then that's how you can grow professionally. And people are gonna look at you as, hey, are you likable? You are, you know how to handle things even under stress. He's looking at it from the standpoint of, if you are this person, can you handle things like under pressure? Can you handle such negative environments, stressful environments? He's looking at it from a defensive, like a defensive mindset. Like, when Julio and I played basketball, I mean, he's one of the toughest defenders I ever had. So I'm looking at this of what he said, to grow professionally and growing as a person, to grow professionally, as he's saying that as a person, you gotta know how to to handle things under pressure or under any such circumstances, and you don't want to go out of control, and that's how you mature. So he's looking at it from that standpoint, which I totally understand. Now I got a much clearer understanding of what he told me on that. But from Bobby's standpoint, it's, I mean, you're not supposed to let a workplace define who you are. I mean, you are who you are as a person, regardless of where you work at. Just don't let anyone define you, because you are there to work. When you come home, then you live your life. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take too long here. I know I'm going a little off tangent, but Too Raw for TV is just basically right on what he said here. So, I'm applying this very part of this clip that I just played earlier in the beginning of this video, as I apply it to today's market. So let me know what you guys think, man. It's nice and sunny out here, and I got something else to talk about. So peace out. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe.